The crystalline spires of New Kepler gleamed against the amber sky, their surfaces catching the light of 3 distant suns. Ambassador Naz Chen stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council building, watching the city sprawl below with its impossible architecture that defied human understanding. Beside her, William Torres adjusted his engineering tablet, running final calculations on what the alien dignitaries had mockingly called the human bunker. "They're still laughing," Naz said, her voice tight with frustration. Through the translucent walls, she could hear the chittering of the HFY delegates and the harmonic rumbling of the Korath representatives. 3 months of negotiations, 3 months of presenting their case, and still the council treated humanity like primitive cave dwellers. William looked up from his tablet, his dark eyes reflecting the alien sunset. Let them laugh. When the void storm hits tomorrow, we'll see who's still standing. The Galactic Council had been skeptical from the moment humanity joined their ranks 5 years ago. Earth's representatives were seen as backward, their technology crude compared to the energy-based civilizations that dominated the galaxy. The Zephyrians built cities from solidified light. The Nexari manipulated matter at the quantum level. The Korath had transcended physical form entirely, existing as pure consciousness in crystalline matrices. And then there were humans, still using metal and concrete, still digging into planets like some ancient species that hadn't learned to dance with the cosmos. "Ambassador Chen," came the melodic voice of High Counselor HFY Thessarian, approaching with her 6 arms gracefully, undulating. "We've reviewed your species' request for emergency protocols. Your shelter design is quite primitive." Naz turned, keeping her expression neutral despite the condescension dripping from the alien's words. "With respect, High Counselor, our design has been tested against Class 9 void storms. Can you say the same about your energy matrices?" The Thessarian's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among her kind. "Child, we have weathered storms since before your star was born. Our cities bend with the cosmic winds. Your humans hide in holes like frightened rodents." "Sometimes," William interjected quietly, "the rodents are the ones who survive." The observation was lost on the High Counselor, who glided away with her retinue, leaving trails of luminescent pheromones in the air. But Naz caught the slight nod William gave her. Their preparations were complete. The void storm hit New Kepler at Or 400 local time. It began as a whisper in space-time itself, a ripple that made reality hiccup. The storm was unlike anything in normal space, a convergence of dark energy and quantum chaos that could unmake matter at the subatomic level. The early warning system screamed across the city as the first tendrils of nothingness began to eat at the edges of the star system. The Zephyrian light cities flickered as their photonic foundations were consumed by the advancing darkness. The Nexari quantum manipulators found their careful molecular arrangements scattered to the cosmic winds. Most devastating of all, the Korath consciousness matrices began to fracture as the storm's chaotic energies disrupted their crystalline networks. In the heart of the city, the human embassy's emergency bunker sealed itself with a sound like a mountain falling. 3 feet of reinforced titanium steel composite, backed by electromagnetic shielding and quantum-resistant materials that every other species had dismissed as crude and inelegant. Inside the shelter, 200 beings of various species, huddled in the artificial light, not just humans but also the alien diplomats who had suddenly found themselves with nowhere else to go. Ambassador Thessarian crouched in the corner, her elegant carapace dulled with fear as she watched her city dissolve through the bunker's reinforced viewports. "Your matrices are failing," Naz observed, checking the readings on William's instruments. Outside, the storm raged like liquid chaos, but inside, the temperature remained constant, the air recycled perfectly, the quantum shielding holding firm. William was at the main console, monitoring the storm's progress with the calm of someone who had planned for exactly this scenario. "Estimated duration, 14 hours. We have supplies for 72 hours and shielding rated for Class 12 events." "How?" Thessarian's voice had lost all its musical arrogance. "How did you know?" Naz settled into a chair beside the alien dignitary. Because we've been through extinction events before, not cosmic ones like this, but we learned something important about survival. It's not about being the most elegant or the most advanced. It's about being prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Your species builds for catastrophe, observed Korath Prime Consciousness Velthak. Speaking through an emergency crystalline matrix William had jury-rigged to keep the collective alive. We build for Tuesday, William replied matter-of-factly. Because on our homeworld, Tuesday might be a volcanic eruption, a hurricane, an asteroid impact, or just a really bad day at the office. We learned that the universe doesn't care how beautiful your city is when it decides to end the world. Through the storm's duration, the human shelter became the beating heart of New Kepler's survival. William's engineering team coordinated rescue operations, their crude metal drones navigating the chaos where elegant energy forms had been instantly dissolved. Niaz managed resources with the efficiency of a species that had learned to ration during ice ages and nuclear winters. When the storm finally passed, leaving the city scarred but not destroyed, the silence in the shelter was profound. High Counselor, Thessarian was the first to speak. We owe you our existence. No, Naz replied, watching through the viewport as William's emergency teams began the work of rebuilding. You owe us a chance to show that sometimes the cave dwellers know something about storms that the Star Dancers forgot. The Galactic Council's next session would be held in humanity's new Emergency Protocols facility, a building that looked remarkably like a bunker, but which every species now recognized as the most advanced survival technology in the galaxy. After all, in a universe full of wonders, the greatest wonder was still being alive to see tomorrow.